All right, let's get right into it. We're heading to the Persian Gulf, one of the most critical, high-stakes waterways on the entire planet. A real-life drama is playing out there, with speedboats, massive tankers, and millions of dollars on the line. And it just might be rewriting the rules of naval confrontation as we speak. Now, this isn't a scene from some action movie. This is exactly what went down on Christmas Eve 2023. Iran's IRGC naval forces kicked off this super carefully planned operation, intercepting a foreign vessel near Kishim Island. But what were they after? Well, when you see the numbers, it's pretty staggering. First off, let's just talk about the money. We're looking at an estimated total value of over $5 million for the seized tanker and all the illegal cargo it was carrying. That is a massive fortune, and it really shows you why smugglers are willing to take these incredible risks. And what was that cargo exactly? 4 million liters of smuggled fuel. I mean, just try to picture that for a second. That is an enormous amount of a nation's wealth just being siphoned off illegally. It's a huge volume, even on a global scale. And finally, we have 16. That's the number of foreign crew members who were on board, running this giant floating black market gas station. They were all taken into custody and handed over to the judicial authorities to face some pretty serious charges. Okay, so let's look at the official story that's coming from the Iranian authorities. On the surface, this whole thing was presented as a major, clear-cut victory against organized crime, a big win for their national security. So what's really driving all this? Well, it boils down to simple economics. You see, government subsidies in Iran make fuel incredibly cheap compared to its neighbors. And that massive price gap, it creates this powerful magnet for a really dangerous but very lucrative black market. And this just shows you the sophisticated cat and mouse game that's being played out at sea. It's a pretty slick operation. Smugglers use this ship-to-ship transfer method, where these little boats act like ants, secretly moving fuel bit by bit to the big mothership. So when the naval forces broke this chain, it wasn't just luck. It was the result of some very precise intel and moment-by-moment monitoring. And according to Iranian officials, this whole operation was about way more than just one ship. The stated goal here was to land a knockout punch to the financial networks behind these smuggling mafias. We're talking about potential fines up to 10 times the value of the seized goods. And this is where the story gets so much bigger. Because when you zoom out from this one event, it starts to look less like an isolated police bust and a whole lot more like a calculated move in a high-stakes global chess match. You see, this seizure didn't happen in a vacuum. Not at all. As we're about to see, it looks like it's just one piece of an escalating tit-for-tat conflict that's playing out on the world's oceans. Now, the thing that's absolutely fascinating about this is the timing. Just days, we're talking just days, before Iran seized this tanker, the United States made a huge move of its own, thousands of miles away. The closeness of these events, well, it really makes you wonder if this is less of a coincidence and more of a direct retaliation. Yeah, so the American seizure of the Bella was a really clear signal. U.S. officials have been very open about their goal to keep squeezing the oil export networks of sanctioned countries, and it seems like that action, way out in the Atlantic, may have triggered a very direct and powerful response right in the Persian Gulf. So all of that context, it completely reframes Iran's action, right? What looked like a domestic anti-crime operation now starts to look like a key part of a new, much more confrontational naval strategy. It's a message being sent not just to smugglers, but to global superpowers. And the language coming from Iranian officials has been incredibly blunt. They've made it crystal clear that protecting their economy and asserting control over their waters is now a red line, and that signals a real readiness for confrontation. So the big takeaway here is this shift in posture. This isn't just about warning criminals anymore. Iran is actively showing its capability and its willingness to enforce its will in the Gulf. They're effectively declaring that its territorial waters will be hostile territory for anyone they consider an adversary. So why does this game of tanker tag between Iran and the U.S. matter to everybody else? Well, like it always is in this part of the world, it all comes down to one word: location. You see, these events are all happening in and around the Strait of Hormuz, which is the planet's most vital bottleneck for oil. Any kind of disruption or escalation here puts all the neighboring countries on high alert and sends immediate shockwaves through the entire global energy market.
And as you'd probably expect, this has drawn some really sharp lines in the sand internationally. On one side, you have countries like Iran, Venezuela, Russia, and China, who are condemning Washington's actions as state piracy. On the other side, the U.S. is vowing to continue its campaign. Basically, both sides are accusing the other of being pirates on the high seas.
What all this shows is that the fight for control over these vital sea lanes and the energy that flows through them has once again become a major flashpoint for global tension. And it leaves all of us with a really critical question. In this new era of confrontation, are these massive, vital ships becoming the new pawns in a very, very dangerous game?